This is Leah with Backyard Homestead in Stowell, Mississippi, and we are getting ready. It is Monday, June 17th, and we are getting out and ready to do a garden harvest this morning. And first we're going to harvest this squash, and it's still looking pretty good, but you can see it's starting to get the powdery mildew, so not quite as gorgeous as it was earlier, but still making lots of squash. So we're going to get in here and pick it, and I will come back and show you what we got. Pick this one right here. Alright, anyway, we're going to do a harvest, and I will come back and show you how much we got. We pick our squash every day, but it's pretty obvious that you're always going to miss one. So we missed these 4, probably even that guy. They hide up under the leaves. These are pretty, but we'll eat these. They're still, they're still tender, but definitely missed those in previous pickings. We pick every day, we just don't video every day. So. And we just found our first cucumber. Pretty fun. And this is the size we like to get them. That other one, I didn't realize they were making yet, so we missed it. I mean, it'll be good to eat fresh, but this is about the size I like for pickling. We've got a bunch of little ones hanging on the vine that they'll probably be ready tomorrow. Here's another small one. Another small one. So our cucumbers are kicking in now. It's another small one on the ground. We need to start checking these every day too. I didn't realize they were this far along. Alright, I'll come back and show you what we got on the cucumbers too. I'm going to pick these Cubanelle peppers next. They're starting to make pretty nicely. There's 2 big ones on this plant. We're going to go through and pick these now. And then, ooh, our bell peppers are looking nice too. Not quite big enough to pick yet, but definitely starting to make. This one's got several hanging on it. We'll be picking these in a couple days. But we're going to do a good harvest of these Cubanelles today. There's lots of them hanging and ready. There's a huge one. Alright, so we'll pick these, and I'll come back and show you what we got. This plant has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on it. And this is our Cubanelle pepper harvest for the day. Pretty nice. They're really starting to kick in. They're gorgeous. I'll weigh them in just a minute and let you know how much we got. Alright, we are getting ready to pick our green beans again. And I wanted to just show you with these green beans over here. These are our bush green beans, and they are healthy and green and beautiful and hanging with beans. And this row over here is just, it's gorgeous, it's thriving, it's healthy and green. And our climbing beans over here are doing well. They're not blooming, they're not even blooming yet. They're still worried about vine, but healthy and pretty. Now I want to show you over here. On this side, this row of bush green beans looks pretty good. This row looks okay. This row beside the tomatoes looks good. And then we have these 2 rows in the middle that look horrible. And we don't know what's wrong. They just never really kicked in, never did well. And this row over here on this side of the tomatoes looks awful. The leaves aren't green, they're real pale, they're falling off, they're turning yellow. They haven't really produced much bean at all. And down here, these rows look awful until you get down to the very end. And then down at this end, they look okay. We don't know what's wrong. We've nursed them, and but we're probably not going to wait on these much longer. I'm going to go ahead and pull these rows today. We're going to pick the beans that are on there, but then go ahead and pull these rows and plant something else because it's just wasted space right now as it is. So, don't know what the issue is, but we're going to try, probably we're going to plant some butter beans here today. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and harvest our contender and our Blue Lake bush green beans, and we'll come back and show you what we got. Yeah. All right, this year has been a weird year for corn. We noticed that even when the stalks were about 3 or 4 feet tall, they started tasseling, and like this one never grew on up. But even tasseling this short, I mean, we still have an ear on it, and down here a bunch of it started tasseling that was really short, and we've kind of attributed it to we planted it when it was warm, but then it got cold again, and then we had a whole lot of rain, so just the weather was strange for it. But it's got a big, nice, fat ear on here. On this tiny little short. Let's see if it made any corn.
Yeah.
It made. It didn't get pollinated real well.
Probably because it's shorter.
Yeah, maybe because it's shorter. But, got some pretty kernels.
Yeah.
Yep, and half the ear. Half the ear's nice. But we're gonna go through. Let's pick a pretty one. Yeah, pick a pretty one off a normal looking. Off a tall one. Yeah, get that one. It's one of our tall plants.
Yeah,
oh yeah, it's pretty. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful ear. Okay, so we'll go through and harvest all this corn, and we'll come back and show you what we get. The only thing we have noticed is with the second planting of corn, it will be there'll be more worms in the second planting we have each year. But last year, I don't think there wasn't wormy at all. The couple of years before that, we had worms in the ends of the ears, but you just cut that part off and it's fine. But we're going to go through and harvest all of this today. I didn't
get pollinated.
Yeah. Well, we were worried that we wouldn't get a crop out of this first planting at all. It looked poor for so long, but I mean, even if the ears aren't gorgeous, we're still getting a crop of corn. So we'll go ahead and pick all this and then come back and show you what we got. So we just got finished harvesting all of this corn. It is a 10 by 20 foot area that we planted, and we planted 108 plants, and this is what we got off of it. This is our harvest for today, and we're going to go ahead and shuck it now, and then we'll do a weigh-in after it. So we take the husks off, shuck it. What's it called? Shucking it? The chickens really love corn shucking time. And this is Big Red. She's kind of the queen of our herd here, and she is 7 years old, going on 8 this year, and she's still laying for us. We get about 2 eggs a week from her. She's definitely queen bee. We always carry our corn into the chicken coop to shuck it, and we just let all the husks lie on the floor, and when we get finished and leave, the chickens will peck at it and scratch in it and toss it all around and eat what they want. And then a few days later we'll rake it all up and put it in the compost pile, or if it's broken down enough, we'll go ahead and just mulch with it in the garden. But that's a poor ear. That one wasn't quite developed, but we've been doing this for the past 5 years, and it works great. We used to take the stalks and put them in the coop and chop them up, or the chickens could break them down too. But we've started putting them down the furrows of the rows and just putting hay over the top and let them break down where we're going to plant. And that works out really well too. It's probably what we're going to do today. This is the pile of husks we're leaving, and see how long it takes them to break this down. They'll have it kicked all over the place by the end of the day, I'm sure. Have fun, girls. Okay, this is today's harvest for June 17th, and we gathered 6 eggs for 0.75 pounds of eggs. Our Cubanelle peppers, we picked 1.79 pounds of Cubanelles. Got 5.93 pounds of squash. 0.4 pounds of cucumbers, 0.12 pounds of blackberries. And these are our green bean harvests. We are comparing how many we get with our contender bush beans. This is this back here versus our Blue Lake bush beans. And our contenders, today we harvested 9.32 pounds of contender bush beans, and we harvested 1.24 pounds of Blue Lakes. And the contenders, we picked a lot more of them. They started blooming earlier. They started making beans earlier. We think that the Blue Lake will probably catch up. We think the contenders just bear earlier. We'll see. The plants are pretty on the Blue Lakes. They just don't have as many beans hanging, but there's plenty of bloom. So we think the Blue Lake will probably catch up. This is our harvest of the Stowell's Evergreen sweet corn, and we harvested 27.93 pounds. And last year, we looked up to see how much we harvested last year, and last year we harvested 37.61 pounds of the Stowell's Evergreen from our first harvest. But we had 121 plants last year, and this year we had 108 plants and harvested 27.93 pounds. And these are the onions we're weighing in today. We harvested these the other day but had them laying out on the table to dry. They were dry enough, so we cut the green tops off. And this is 29.82 pounds of the candy onions. And we still have one more bed of the onions to harvest. And that's it. Thanks for watching.